Yes, hi guys, welcome you all. This is still my channel that we are starting Microsoft packages now. Another one is the Excel. So in Excel, before you start operating, there's a lot of things you should consider. That is the terminologies that I use. But first, let's open the document for Excel. So spreadsheet is what we're opening. So this is it coming. Yes, spreadsheet here is what you see. And before we have to go through and see some bit of terminology that we have in it. I'm going to use another word program that will enable us to go through it. So this is what alongside spreadsheet. We have two things now at a go. So this will help us probably to keep highlighting what we are talking about. And this we keep performing the operation on. So in terminologies that we'll talk about, summarize them here. So you can see some of the terminologies. So these terminologies, we'll talk about it when we come down. The first thing that you should know, this terminology is just where we are going to talk about what we are calling as the columns. Columns is first. Now what is these columns? So when you come to the Excel spreadsheet like this, the first thing we're talking of is columns. This is a vertical division that is found in a spreadsheet. So what you see is going vertically like this is what we're calling as the columns. And another friend to what we're calling as column is row. Yes. Meanwhile, columns is a vertical division. We're going to see this row as being the horizontal divisions. What you're seeing moving horizontally is the row. Now beside this, others will now start coming. Very interesting here. We'll see something probably about cells. Now if cells come, the basis of cells is derived from row and column, because where a row, what is horizontal and what is vertically intersects, they form what we're calling as the cell. Now if they form the cell, it brings the idea that you see a cell where you see the operation is supposed to be done. So we have to verify that and we see to know. Now if cell comes, let's know where columns and row intersect. Now from here, we're going to see what we're calling as active cells. Now these active cells appears on what we're calling as the name box. A name box is another option that should go hand in hand with what we're calling as the active cells. Name box and active cell. Now look. Now where operations want to be carried like this A on the column, what is vertically like this A and what is horizontally these two. Here where you see something like a cross is what we're calling as the active cells. And now if it is the active cell, the name always appear in what we're calling as the name box. Up here we see A2, it is a name box, and it is written down there as the what? The name box. So just know where operation wants to start taking place. That cell is very active. Case in point, if I come here, this is H5. You see H5, go to the name box, it is H5. H on the vertical and 5 follow, that is on the horizontal. So that brings the difference between active cells and the name box. Operation active cells, name box operation. In fact, where the names of the cell which is active is always denoted. Now another one that we should go and look at is what we're calling as the workbook. What do we call the workbook? It is just a document in Excel that has pages called the sheets. Now that is a workbook. This is a workbook. If I want to increase another workbook, I add another sheet. You see, down we go to sheet 2. Add another one, we go to sheet 3. So this is a workbook because in Excel, it has what we're calling a page. There are many pages that we are normally calling now as what? Sheets. That is what comprises of the workbook. Now if the workbook is done, there's another one called the worksheet. The worksheet, now in this case we need to progress. The worksheet here is where if you're seeing your Excel very well, it's always arranged in rows and columns where you have the active cells, you have everything from there. That is now what we're terming as the worksheet. Besides this, as we go to wind up, that's what we call the cell references. The cell references. Now the cell references we are talking of, if you go to your worksheet where you have the rows and columns, becomes the name of the what? Cells. And always it is written in what we're calling as the name box where you find it. It is an active cell. Now the next thing that we have to talk of is the function. What we're calling as a function. The function is just an expressions function. This is an expressions that are normally used to calculate some values. Like you come to realize that the function they normally start with equals to. This is where function normally start with. After equals to, you come to maybe you put any formula, any function that come, something of that nature. Predetermined formula that perform the specific calculation can even be function. Like we have the function that are called the sum, others they are called the average, others are called the average. There are very many. There's others that we call it as the VLOOKUP. These are just predetermined formulas. These predetermined formulas, they're used to perform specific calculations in other items. And a friend to this function is what we are calling as now formula. It's what we are calling as formula. Now an expression used to calculate values now is what comes as the formula. What do we use to calculate values? Like if you have several components, all values from A7, A 5, A 6, what. So I have this. This is what I have, and you now want to get the average of this, or you want to get the sum of this, or you want to get what? You use what we're calling as a formula. In this formula, that's the expression you use to calculate the value, and normally start with what we're calling as the equal sign, and include functions where the functions can be what? sum and what you're operating and the cell reference where you have to do it. Now after this sum, come to the bracket and starts from here. This is A what? A7. After A7, where do you end? Is what to come back. After A7, where would you want to end? You want to end up to this. Close the brackets. Afterward, you press on enter. You find that the function will have helped you to calculate that using the formula. And you see the formula bar is where you see the formula you're using computation appears. You can see this one has no formula, but if you come here, the formula we use is sum equals to sum A7 on E7. That is what normally helps in computation. So these are some of the terminologies that are normally used. So within this terminology, the last one is now what we're calling as the formula bar. Formula bar, what we summarized with. So with this, I've studied or learned what the terminologies that are normally used in Excel means. Some of these terminologies are very good because it helps you see what is good for you, help you make work makes it very easy. So that is when you use and when you find out such kind of thing. Thank you so much. Next, I'm going to take you through the errors that are found in the use of Excel spreadsheets. Besides those errors, there are also some ways. How do we make report cards? That is on Excel spreadsheet. So subscribe to this channel and get more and more videos.